the end of the road. I don't know why I did that. But hey, y'all, my name's Leah. I'm going to be recapping and reviewing Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 4, episode 14, and the last part of the reunion. Let's get into it. The episode opens up and Andy asks Nicole about why she didn't tell anybody about her engagement. Remember, we found out that Nicole got engaged on December the 31st, I think, this year? Yeah, no, or did they film this in 2021? I don't know. Either way, she didn't tell nobody. She allowed People Magazine, as Marisol says, online. She allowed People Magazine online to announce her engagement. Lisa kind of felt some type of way because we know Lisa and Nicole were building a closer bond. And Lisa was like, we spoke 3 times after you got engaged and you never said anything. So nobody said anything. But then all of a sudden, Nicole chimes in and she tries to say, I'm my PR person. And I just feel like Marisol said, we've all been a part of this machine. We know how to keep secrets. Marisol's being annoying though, but we know how to keep secrets. So why wouldn't you tell anybody? And then Marisol said, oh, congratulations. I said, Marisol, stop it. But I feel like, and I got my thermal for her. I feel like, I don't know, something about Nicole is shifty to me, y'all. I don't care what none of y'all say. Something about Nicole is sneaky. And basically she ain't tell nobody, which I do kind of find odd because I'm just kind of like, if they're your friends, why didn't you just tell them and just maybe hit them like, hey, don't announce this, but I wanted to let y'all know I got engaged. I'm super excited. We're going to have People Magazine announced it to everybody. But since you guys are my friends, I wanted to let y'all know. So it does kind of seem weird. Granted, she didn't have to tell nobody, but it is peculiar where I would be like, why you keeping it a secret? So then, like I said, Adriana was saying that Nicole is allowed to be private. And then Larsa chimes in. She was like, so she can be private, but you can yell at me all types of crazy things. Bye, girl. And I had to give Larsa that point. If you're allowed to if Nicole is allowed to be private about her engagement, then Larsa is allowed to be private. Even though we all know she's friends with the Kardashians, she's allowed to be private about her relationship with them. Like, if you're going to give Nicole that grace, you got to give Larsa that grace too. So then, Andy asks a question about real and fake. Oh, about Marisol's question. She was like, who do you trust the least? And they were like, Nicole never answered it. So Nicole says she trusts Marisol the least. And she said Marisol texted her and said, Nicole is very natural and very real, not fake. So Marisol's rebuttal was just like, she was like, yeah, I said that. And I said, you and your husband or your husband-to-be look very natural and real and not fake. I said, Marisol. I just think Marisol just don't trust Nicole. And that's what Marisol said. Marisol said it takes her a long time to trust people. And she was like, I just don't trust people. I don't trust. She was like, I don't trust very easily. But I did say those things. And that's the thing. She said she don't lie. At least she owned it. So we can actually notice that Marisol don't be lying. So then Nicole says she holds grudges, but she's really she's trying to figure out her relationship with Marisol. Then they asked Nicole about her daddy. That's not going too well. Supposedly the man showed up with a uncooked turkey and told her to cook it, seasoned it, and then he took it to his girlfriend's house, and she hasn't really talked to him lately. So then Alexia said something about, do you not want him to walk you down the aisle? And she was like, and then Gertie was like, girl, Cuddy, we not there. They're not. And then Alexia says, no, I'm saying this because I don't have neither one of my parents. So I'm just saying, I would have wanted them to walk me down the aisle or have been at my wedding. And I get to a certain extent where Alexia is coming from, but I also get Nicole, if me and my daddy don't have a great relationship, he doesn't get the honor to walk me down the aisle to the person that I'm in love with or I want to be betrothed to or whatever. He doesn't get the opportunity to share in this happy moment. if you're not going to be, if you're going to only bring chaos and destruction. But I also get Alexia where she's like, I don't have my parents and I would have loved them to be there with me with when I married the person that I felt was like my one and only, which is Todd for Alexia. So I got both sides. So next they talk about the trip in the Hamptons. Andy got good questions because this lady asked and basically said, Adriana, how dare you be so obnoxious with your antics and wet up the room purposely because you didn't want to give Larsa the master bedroom even though it was her trip. So then Adriana was like, well, I didn't want Martina to think there was something going on between me and Julia. And I was with everybody else on the couch like, now you don't care? Y'all already have been like on each other. I was like, that's bull. That was BS. Adriana just wanted the room and she did what she did by getting naked from the top up and pouring water on everybody to make people leave. And I was on Larsa's side like, girl, it's my trip. I should have the master bedroom. What you did was out of pocket and it crossed the line. So then they talk about Lisa being upset about sharing the room. I'm mad they didn't show that Lisa was like, well, I won't say mad. I felt like it was odd that they didn't show that Lisa offered to go stay at a hotel and just drive back and forth as long as she got her own room. And I just felt like it was out of pocket. It was out of pocket. Like because we were all looking at Lisa like, girl, but if she had a solution to the situation, there was no need for everybody to be so mad at her. If she was really willing to do that, maybe production was like, no, girl, we're not going to be driving back and forth to come and get you. Just figure it out and thug it out in the bedroom together. They then ask about, they talk about Alexia defensiveness. Alexia is very defensive. Like, to a certain extent, with the whole Lisa thing, I didn't think she was being defensive. I just felt like Lisa was just being childish and immature. But when they showed the Watch What Happens Lives clip, Alexia was defensive. Like, Lisa didn't say nothing wrong in that instance. And even when they had her argument with Nicole, I don't even think Alexia was being too defensive. It was like Nicole was trying to check her and Alexia had the right to defend herself. But there are times where you can tell Alexia is very defensive, depending on all the things that, like, you know, all the things that she's been through, you know. So then they talk about the friend engagement, which was still weird. Even when they played it back, it was weird. I don't think it was cute at all. And if I was Martina, I would have an issue about my wife being friends with Adriana. I would. Because my thing is, like, they did things that were inappropriate. They even asked if they've kissed before. And Julia said no. No, Julia was about to say something. But Adriana was like, no, we haven't. But she did it so quickly where everybody could tell that Julia was about to say, like, yeah, we flirted back and forth. Like, even when they did the whole pickle thing, where they were biting on the pickle, kind of like how, well, Lady in the Tramp with the spaghetti, it was out of pocket. Because if it was a male and a female, we would have an issue. And even with me, like, not being a part of the, you know, the community, I still had an issue because, like, bro, you're married. Like, married people shouldn't be doing that. Unless y'all have, like, an arrangement or an understanding that, like, this is what y'all do. Y'all allowed to do these things. Other than that, it was disrespectful to me. So then they talk about Julia's hangover. It was a hangover. I cracked up that Andy talked about being drunk on New Year's. I love when Andy get drunk on New Year's. I had a good kiki. I had a wonderful kiki. And he owned it. He said, girl, be drunk on own your drunkenness. But honestly, Julia had a massive hangover. She low-key might have had like alcohol poisoning because they listed off what she did. And then Marisol said, you know, because her husband is Russian, that yes, they do the olive oil shot because she talked to her sister-in-law. But the truth of the matter is like, you were doing olive oil shots on top of, like, they said you drank almost 2 or 3 bottles of wine and you were doing vodka. Y'all were drinking for 12 hours. Like, sis, that is a dangerous combination. And we didn't even see Julia, like, eat. Like, I didn't see Julia, like, eat and drink and stuff. Like, so y'all was wasted. You was wasted. Like, in the moment the paramedics came and like it seemed like they gave her fluids because her body was probably like dehydrated, she felt better. Girl, own the fact that you was wasted. You was wasted, Julia. Girl, bye. The next segment we have is with Louie and Lisa. Girl. Lisa need therapy and Louie and Lenny need therapy. So basically, they've been together for 14 years. I guess the only good thing about the show showcasing their relationship is that Lisa says Lenny now realizes the way in which he approaches her, or the attitude that he gives off makes him look like he's checked out of his marriage, like he doesn't love her. And it seems that way, or like he's over her. So they talk about the emotional affair. She don't want to admit it. Supposedly, y'all, allegedly, the tea is that he had an emotional affair with Morgan off of I think it was Bad Girls Club. Were they in Miami? The Bad Girls Clubs where they had Kristen and Kat and Brandy. When that girl got kicked off, like I think I think it was episode 2 where she tried to fight production, Morgan. And I don't even think she showed up for the reunion. But that is supposedly who he had the affair with. That's allegedly who everyone's been saying. And I was like, ooh, not Morgan. Morgan done been through a lot, y'all. She was dealing with that man who was scamming people. That girl done been through a lot. So, basically, what it seems like is that Lisa kind of has taken on all of the, like, blame of their relationship in some ways, because Lenny is the breadwinner and he's affording her and her kids this lifestyle. It seems like she was dealing with a hard, like, this affair happened when they were at the 8-year mark. Lisa was having a hard time conceiving through IVF. She was real hormonal because it does mess up your hormones. She was, like, I guess her coping mechanism of not being successful with having a kid led her to partying, being all out all hours of the night. Lenny felt like she wasn't taking their marriage seriously anymore, and she felt like, I guess, she wasn't taking care of him. And I was like, I hate women. We need to be taking care of each other, not just you. No, I'm not just gonna be taking care of you. But basically, Lenny felt like, okay, if you're not gonna be at the house, then what you out there doing, Alexia chimes in because Andy asks her how does she feel about Lenny and Lisa's relationship, and Alexia just kind of says marriage is hard, like, and I think that's her nice way of saying, like, it ain't great, but it, like, she understands that marriage ebbs and flows, and they were at a rough patch. Adriana chimes in and says that, like, there's been research done that, like, people only stay in the lovey-dovey honeymoon phase for, like, 2 years. And then that's when things get, I guess, serious, in the sense of, like, either you stay with that person or you leave. And then Gertie kept trying to chime in, but, like, they weren't trying to let her speak. But she's been with Russell for 26 years, and she was saying that Russell and I's relationship comes first. Like, she was just kind of like, there is no other person. Like, he's my person, I'm his person. And she was like, you have to want to work at your relationship. So then Lisa is trying to cut Gertie off, and she basically says that she has trust issues, she has abandonment issues, that when they hit the 8-year mark, Lenny told her he didn't love her and he wanted a divorce. And they had actually separated when he started talking to the alleged woman that he had an emotional affair with. She says she know they hadn't had sex, but I feel like she just won't call it, like, I think she feels like calling it an emotional affair is better than calling it an affair. But I feel like an emotional affair is way worse than a regular affair. Both are bad, but I think when you connect with someone on a deeper level, which is supposed to be, I guess, what's supposed to be between a husband and a wife, that stings more than you just out here having sex with someone. She said after that she fell into, like, a deep depression. She was like, she really doesn't have a relationship with her family like that. Like, Louie and the kids and his family are her family. They bring up Leah Black, who everyone on that side of it, like, they don't understand that, like, honestly, Alexia Marisol and Adriana hate Leah. I would be so surprised if they bring Leah back on the show, but they hate Leah. And the crazy thing is, like, I used to like Leah because her name was spelled the same way as mine, and there's not a lot of people with our name that spell it just L-E-A. But she is horrible. Leah is horrible. She got ate up by Anna, though. That was season 2. Anna ate her up at that reunion. You know, and then they talked about it not being fair. Then they talked about she felt like Lenny didn't take into her consider like her feelings about her issues about the IVF. Then they cut to commercial. I did think it was nice that Marisol got up to comfort her because she felt bad. And I also like the fact that Gertie got up and gave her a tissue. When they cut to commercial, Larsa was like, you know, telling her, like, I don't know what Lisa asked Larsa, but Larsa was just like, he just seems selfish. And Lisa wanted explanations, but I was just like, you just said your husband seems like he's disinterested and only cares about, like, he doesn't really care about you. That in and of itself could seem selfish, especially with him asking you for a baby, another baby, and he's never home. He's only on home during the weekends. It could come off selfish. Like, let's just call a thing a thing. Then I'm asking, where is Kiki? Justice for Kiki, because they showed all of, like, a package, and majority of the people in the package was Kiki. Like, Kiki, and I'm like, why did y'all not invite Kiki when you have Marisol and Adriana on the couches, and they're just friends of the show? Kiki was in every episode. So I don't get why they just didn't invite her. So justice for Kiki next season if she comes back. She better be on the couch. They asked Alexia about her life. This part to me was the juiciest when they talked about Herman and, you know, his life. So they talked about the wedding. Unfortunately, like we found out that Alexia's mom died the day of the wedding, which was August the 25th, which is also Mama Elsa's birthday. They talked about her confronting Herman about, like, you know, his alleged, like, you know, him being gay. So what we found out is that, like, there was always whispers in Miami about Herman being gay. But Alexia asked Herman before they got married, was he gay? And he denied it. Then as time went on, there was, like, a situation where they were a couple friends with another couple, and the husband kept coming over every day. And then she even had to sit them down in the backyard and ask them, like, what's going on, because this ain't cute. And they denied having a situation. She said her sex life with Herman was good. Like, she said nobody ever confirmed whether or not he really was gay. So when she was trying to pry and poke, her mom and her, like, I guess people around her told her to leave it alone because, like, they didn't think he was. She said Herman was very possessive and jealous, but she was like, he never told her he was gay. They then find out the only reason how Alexia found out that Herman was gay was when he passed, and they were reading his attorneys came, they sat down to do the reading of the will. They found out that Herman bought his lover, who we never got to see, a house, but he put it in his name. So I guess she couldn't get it or something like that. They were saying that, and Andy asked, like, well, do you own the house? And she was like, no, because we had a prenup. So they then say Leah Black thought it was wrong of Alexia to out Herman. And I'm like, girl, don't know. Leah, you're not on the show, so hush. They then bring up Adriana talking about Herman dying while having sex. And everyone kind of felt like it was in poor taste. Adriana apologizes. But Adriana said she felt like it was okay for her to say because they were talking about it, Herman and him being gay. And she said she found out from her gay friends that was like the rumor going around. Alexia, at the end of it, because Larsa chimed in and told Adriana, this is not your story. But at the end, Alexia said she was happy for Herman. She was happy that Herman was able to live his life and he was able to be with someone, just to live his life, because he was in the political realm, and we already know how they frown upon people being gay for being politicians, which is stupid. And she was just happy that he at least before he passed away, he was at least able to at least kind of live his truth and have this lover or a significant other and be happy with him. So they're continuing to talk to Alexia. They talk about the whole Peter and Todd situation. When Todd said, "I'll fight you back." That will never not be funny to me. I'll fight you back. And basically, Alexia enables her son. They asked her about, people were saying that they felt like Todd was wrong for the things he said. I don't think Todd was wrong. Todd told the truth. And you see what he said was true because the little boy done got locked up. I keep calling people little boy like we're not around the same age. But, he got locked up. Like, bruh. Like, he said he was going to go to jail. He went to jail. Alexia does enable him. And I think she needs to take full ownership of that if she wants her son to be different. Like, you coddle him, and this is what you got. A beach bum. Because that's what he looked. He looked dirty all the time. I was glad that they cleared up the whole "he's not my son" comment. And Larsa was for the win. Because I think I understood what Todd was saying. Where it's like, Frankie's not my son, and you guard him like he's not my son. So anything I say to, like, in jest of what you do, you take it as, like, this, he my child, not yours. Alexia says she wouldn't be comfortable with Frankie living by himself. He's 24. I think the truth of the matter is like, there's so many, like, assisted living facilities for people that have, that are like Frankie, that are good and not bad. Because I do know there's some crappy one out there, y'all. I just watched, it's on Netflix, Worst Roommate Ever. The first episode was horrible. That lady was out here killing the mentally disabled. She was evil. Evil. You don't do that to people like that. So I understand that, like, there's always that in the back of your mind that someone might hurt people like that because they are naive and they are disabled in that way. But there's also really good facilities as well. Because I know people who have worked, like when I was in undergrad, who have worked at these and who have, like, who took pride in their job of helping people that had disabilities. So there are places like that, but I guess Alexia just feels like she wouldn't be, it wouldn't make her feel right. It just would not make her feel right knowing that her son wasn't in, like, arm's reach and she couldn't check on him. They then bring up Mama Elsa, we all know, and I didn't know she had passed away 3 years ago. I thought it was, I thought she had been, gone way longer than that. So it's still pretty fresh for Marisol. She was about to cry. She said, you know, she had, I didn't know, I thought she had cancer, but Marisol confirmed that she had, like, aggressive dementia. And I feel like dementia and Alzheimer's is horrible. It's horrible because it's like, I know it has to be extremely scary for the person that's going through it, but I know it has to be also just as scary for the person that is watching their loved one deteriorate in that way. Where, like, you see people who are vibrant, who, like, have all their faculties, and then they turn into, like, a toddler. And that just has to be scary for the person dealing with that. And also just, like, soul crushing to see somebody who was so vibrant just fade away like that. I ain't even gonna lie, like, I teared up a little bit when she was talking about her mom, like, especially, like, when she couldn't talk about it, because you could tell even in the earlier seasons, like, because I told y'all I only watched season 1 and 2, they loved it, like, Marisol loved her mama, and her mom was, like, somebody who was just, she was just a character, like, no matter what she looked like, you could tell that she was she was just a good lady that was down for the ride, like, she had wisdom in her. And even when Marisol was telling the story about her calling the paramedics to get some sexy men in there, and she would act like she passed out, and she got her wine right there, like, and like winking to them. Like, that's someone that you, like, all the memories you have, like, you're always going to remember that person. Always. So then they talk about the issue between Larsa and Adriana. I kind of don't believe Adriana. Like, she had a picture of Kanye, and then, like, I was with Andy, it was very much like a fan pic. Like, it wasn't like a familiar pic, like she made it seem. Also, Larsa asked Kim, so let me get my notes in order because I'm about to be all over the place. So basically, they do a flashback of Larsa and Adriana's whole riff. They talked about Kanye's penis, and Kim and, you know, Larsa's relationship with Kim and Kanye. And basically Larsa said we didn't fall out like how everyone makes it seem. We just grew apart and we're slowly working our way back up. No, we don't follow each other, but like there's history there because they've been friends for over, I think, like 10 years. She said she talked to Kanye and she said Kanye didn't even know who Adriana was, and he said that was lies. Adriana pulls out her phone and she shows us a picture, and when we see the picture, it really looked like a fan picture. And Nicole was trying to back Adriana up, saying it was like it could have happened in the bathrooms back there, but like that's not, excuse me, that still wasn't like evidence. Evidence would have been like you in the bathroom and you got a picture of him peeing from behind. The picture of y'all was legit like a fan pic. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. So then Adriana, and so then it's like Adriana, Julia, and Nicole versus Larsa. And you got Nicole, they get on the whole IG conversation. Supposedly Larsa said that Nicole and Julia's IGs were like toilet paper or watching paint dry. She shouldn't have said that. She tried to say she didn't say it, but Nicole was like, yes, you did say it. And I think for Larsa, I think Larsa has over like 2 million followers. So I guess she's used to having high engagement. And I guess for her, she's like, if you're not doing anything, I don't feel the need to follow you, which is her right. She could have been nicer about it. But like, I don't follow people that I don't think are interesting. So I was getting sick of Julia butting in because when Larsa says, sweetheart, that's not, and Julia was, that's so condescending. Shut up, Julia. It is condescending, and we're arguing back and forth. Like, it's 3 against 1. Like, Gertie didn't say nothing. Gertie, Lisa, Alexia, or Adriana didn't say. I think all Gertie said was like, well, it is a picture, but it didn't give credence to that you saw that man's genitals. Like, it just didn't make sense. So Julia said shame on Larsa for the way she acted. And like, honestly, because I don't want to rehash the whole thing, basically Larsa was like, I set boundaries with Adriana because Adriana was crossing boundaries, and Adriana doesn't like that I set boundaries. Nicole asks Larsa, like, did you sign an NDA? And Larsa was like, no, I just don't want to talk about it. Well, she never said no, so we don't know if she signed it. She might have signed an NDA and she just don't want to admit that. But Larsa was like, no, like Larsa was like, do you want to talk about your ex-husband? Do you want to talk about your ex-husband, the teacher? Like, and I was with Larsa, like, if I don't want to talk about my past relationships, then you shouldn't have, then you, and you don't want to talk about your ex-husband, then don't ask me about it. So then they talk about, so like I said, she talked to Kim and she talked to Kanye. She said her and Kim are in touch, and Kanye said that's lies about Adriana seeing her stuff, which I kind of believe because I feel like Kanye would have people around him that would keep like fans away. But then again, she could have saw the man's thing because he not there. He not all there either. So then they talk about them wearing the same dress. Supposedly Larsa wore, like, in her what's it called, that blue dress Larsa wears in the opening credits, like, you know, when they hold the mojitos. Adriana wore it first, and Larsa basically said, I wore it just because I felt like I could wear it better. Okay. So then this corny Adriana gets up and gives Larsa cookies because she says she looked like the Cookie Monster in the dress. And it really wasn't like, it didn't hit the way Adriana thought it would hit. It just seemed thirsty. Just for her to apologize at the end and tell Larsa she was sorry. And for Larsa to say, like, you know what, we gonna work on a relationship because you're a wild card. And then at the end, they took Russian shots with the pickle. And that was it. So yeah, y'all, I enjoyed the season. I gave it a that's solid. It. We are done with Real Housewives of Miami. So my closing thoughts. I would say I would give this season a 7.5. It was a solid C. It was edging on like B worthy, But overall, I think the 14 episodes was the series' sweet spot. And for this to be like the first real, like, I guess, comeback season out of all the Real Housewives franchises, I think this was a great way to come back. The only reason why I give it like a 7.5 is because there were times where I was bored with it. Maybe three or four episodes where I was like, this is kind of a snooze fest. But overall, I think it was a good season. If I had to rate each woman, like each lady, like by herself, starting off, I would give Alexia, we know Alexia is the queen bee, I would give her a B. I feel like she shared the most and I really enjoyed it, but I don't like her relationship with Peter, and that's why I'm not giving her anything more, because she makes me mad with Peter. But she shared so much with us, so she really got like an 89.4. You know, if she had that 5, we could round it up to an A, but she got a B+. Marisol, I would give Marisol a solid B. She's a friend of the show, but she played her position, and she was messy with the whole Nicole thing, and I was sick of seeing her thermal after a while, even though y'all know I'm a good thermal girl as well. But I think she was needed, and I enjoyed her relationship with Alexia, so she got a B for me. Next would be Lisa. I would give Lisa a C. Lisa really didn't add much other than, you know, the opulence, because she the one that got money because they're on that island in Miami, which is known for all like the millionaires. But she didn't really have much other than like her depressing storyline with Lenny, and then after a while it kind of like flatline. So when she comes back next season, I want to see more from her. Larsa, I'll give Larsa a B2. Excuse me. She woke up at first she wasn't really giving it for me, but she woke up closer to the end with her arguments between Nicole, Adriana, and Julia. Like, I was like, okay, Larsa, I'm liking this. So you get a B for me. And she let us in, even though she didn't expose too much about like her affiliation with the Kardashians. I think she gave us enough with her divorce with Scotty and trying to like start her jewelry line or her jewelry business and moving. I think that was enough. Adriana, honestly, if I'm being real, she deserves a B+, but she's getting a B-. She's getting a B-, mainly because she was thirsty. Like, you could tell at times when she was being thirsty, and it didn't effortlessly flow for her, in my opinion. So if she comes back next season, I need her to like still be messy, but like let it flow, girl. Like, don't be trying to do things. And then for the new girls, again, I say justice for Miss Kiki. Even though she was a friend, I don't think she should not be a friend. She should stay as a friend. I don't think she deserves a mojito. But, like, she should have been on the reunion. If she comes back, maybe they could give her more screen time like they gave Marisol and Adriana. Gertie, well, no, I didn't even rate Kiki. I would give Kiki a C as well, because we didn't really get to know her. We found out that she had her and her ex were getting a divorce or separating, and then we saw her daughter, but other than that, we really didn't get to know Kiki. Gertie, I would give Gertie like a B, like a solid B. She was in the mess, but not in the mess, but I was glad we got to see like her career, and like she showed us what she really does, and she knows how to stir the pot, although I need her to stand in it and not shy away from it. Julia gets the lowest grade, low-key a D for me, because Julia didn't give us much. Other than her being inappropriate with, I won't give her a D. I'll give her a C-, which is basically a D, but it's a nice way of saying you got a D. She gets a C- because she didn't give us much other than her inappropriate relationship with Adriana. And other than that, like, all we know about Julia is farms. We do know about that upsetting story about her, not her husband, but her son. But, like, she didn't really interact well with the ladies like that. Then we have Nicole. I would also give Nicole a B+. She shared, just like she shared that stuff with her dad. She shared her life. You know, she gave us opulence. She didn't back down from the ladies, from the OGs. So overall, the cast, to me, I would say if you average it out, we'll probably get like a solid C+ for me. And that's why I would give the whole season a C+. So they did good. They did good. So good job, ladies. So drop down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. And remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.